What if the person you fell in love with is not who you think they are? What if, in truth, you are falling in love with a reflection of your own soul, a ghost in the fog of your unconscious? In a quiet, candlelit room of the psyche, love arrives like a whisper, sudden, haunting, magnetic. We look into another's eyes and swear we see something eternal. A recognition. A knowing. But what if this recognition is not of them, but of ourselves? Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychologist and modern alchemist of the soul, once warned, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Yet this transformation is not always the spiritual union we long for. It is often an initiation, a trial by fire, a test of shadow and illusion. In the realm of love, we wander a labyrinth. At first, we are intoxicated, drunk on connection, beauty, and the illusion of completeness. We believe we found the one. But are we truly seeing them, or merely projecting fragments of our own inner world? This is the sacred paradox of love. It is both the most ecstatic and the most deceptive of human experiences. To Jung, falling in love was not just an emotional event, it was a psychological eruption. A symptom of deeper soul work demanding to be done. So which is it? Is romantic love a divine calling, or a delusion of the ego? Tonight, we go beyond the veil. We will follow Jung's lantern through the mists of projection, shadow, and the archetype of the Anima and Animus. We'll explore how the soul uses romantic love to awaken us, to heal us, and sometimes, to break us open. Welcome, seeker. You are not here by accident. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Gustav Jung. Are you ready to peer into the mirror? Love, in Jung's psychology, is never just about the other. It is a sacred mirror, held up by the unconscious, reflecting back the pieces of our soul that have long been buried or forgotten. Imagine this: you stand before a still lake at dawn. Mist swirls on the surface. You gaze into the water and see a face, not entirely your own, and yet, hauntingly familiar. This is projection. Jung taught that the psyche is not a simple thing. It is layered, deep, and filled with archetypes, primordial forces or patterns that shape our experience of the world. When we fall in love, we often are not seeing the real person in front of us. Instead, we are projecting an archetype, an image drawn from the deepest parts of the unconscious, onto that person. This is the mystery of Anima and Animus. For Jung, every man carries within him the archetype of the Anima, the inner feminine, his soul image. And every woman bears the Animus, the inner masculine, the seed of spirit. These archetypes shape what we are drawn to, what stirs our longing, and how we love. So when a man sees a woman who awakens him, or a woman meets a man who feels destined, they may not be falling in love with a person at all, but with their own lost soul. The love that burns brightest, Jung said, is often lit by the fire of projection. Herein lies the danger, and the invitation. When we project, we are not seeing clearly. We idealize, we worship, we assign meaning. But projection is not false, it is just incomplete. It is the psyche's way of trying to heal itself, by pulling hidden content to the surface. But if left unconscious, projection turns into delusion. We demand the other live up to the divine image we've cast upon them. And when they fail, as they must, the spell breaks, and love turns to disillusionment. The true alchemy begins when we take back the projection. When we realize, this longing is not for them. It is for me. It is my soul crying out for wholeness. So, how do we begin to reclaim our projections? Here is a practice, simple, but powerful. Step 1. Reflect on the person you are most drawn to, or most wounded by. Step 2. List the qualities you attribute to them, good or bad. Step 3. Ask yourself, where do these qualities live in me? Are they expressions of a potential I have disowned? or shadows I refuse to face. This is the inner marriage, konyangsho, where soul meets self, and the mirror becomes clear. We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. Carl Jung. Love, when it turns to pain, reveals its truest nature. We are taught to fear the end of romance, as if heartbreak is a mistake, a failure. But to Jung, the wound left by love is not a curse. It is a sacred initiation. A crack in the ego, through which the soul begins to speak. There is no coming to consciousness, Jung wrote, without pain. Think of Psyche, from the ancient Greek myth, a mortal woman whose beauty rivaled that of the gods. She is united with Eros, the god of love, but forbidden to see his face. In the darkness, they love. But when she lights the lamp to behold him, desiring to truly know who he is, he vanishes. This is the eternal pattern. Romantic love, at first, blinds us. Then, when we try to truly see, the illusion shatters. And in that shattering, the soul's deeper work begins. Pain, Jung believed, is not merely emotional, it is symbolic. The heartbreak is not just about lost love, it is about the loss of a fantasy, the breaking of a projection. And in that loss, we are offered a rare opportunity, the chance to reclaim the parts of ourselves we gave away. It is here, in the ashes of romance, that many encounter what Jung called the shadow, the rejected, exiled parts of the psyche. The anger, neediness, fear, or despair that rise in love's absence are not flaws to fix, they are messages from within. Clues pointing us to what we have not yet integrated. The one who left us, or failed us, becomes a mirror again, but this time, showing not our divine ideal, but our unloved self. The path of individuation, Jung's term for the soul's unfolding, requires this descent. We must walk into the underworld of the broken heart. Not to stay there, but to retrieve something we left behind, our power, our sovereignty, our wholeness. And when we rise again, we love not from need, but from fullness. Here is a sacred technique, drawn from this wisdom. The wounded mirror ritual. In a quiet space, write a letter. Not to your lover, but to the part of yourself that was awakened in the relationship. Speak to it. Ask. What do you desire? What were you trying to show me? Why did you hurt so much when they left? Then, answer from that part. Let it speak through your hand. This is dialogue with the soul. Pain is not the end of love. It is the forge in which real love is born. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams, who looks inside, awakens. Carl Gustav Jung. There is a moment in every mythic journey where the hero sees clearly, not the enemy, not the beloved, but themselves. And this is where love becomes real. In the aftermath of projection, after the masks have fallen and the illusions dissolved, something unexpected emerges, the possibility of authentic connection. Not based on fantasy. Not built on unconscious longing. But rooted in conscious awareness of the self. Jung saw this as the highest potential of love, not romantic intoxication, but sacred union. Not the merging of two halves looking to be whole, but the meeting of two individuated beings who have done their inner work, who know their shadow, and who love not to escape themselves, but to be more fully themselves. This is not the love of fairy tales. It is the love of alchemy. In the mystical process of alchemical transformation, there is a stage known as the konyangsho, the sacred marriage. Symbolically, it represents the union of opposites. Light and dark, masculine and feminine, spirit and matter, ego and soul. When this process is mirrored in human relationships, love becomes a spiritual crucible. Each partner is no longer a vessel for projection, but a companion on the path of inner transmutation. Together, they work not to complete each other, but to reveal the divine within each. The privilege of a lifetime, Jung wrote, is to become who you truly are. And real love, conscious love, is the fire that helps burn away everything that is not you. This kind of love is not always peaceful. It is not always easy. But it is profoundly liberating. Because it does not seek to possess, it seeks to witness. It does not ask the other to be perfect, it asks them to be whole. So how do we move from projection to this sacred union? A few practices, drawn from Jungian depth psychology and ancient spiritual traditions. Shadow integration, regularly reflect on your emotional triggers in relationship. Ask, what part of me is being mirrored here? Use conflict not as an end, but as a doorway to deeper self-understanding. Inner marriage work, engage in visualizations where your inner masculine and feminine meet and converse. Allow the anima and animus within you to reconcile, so you do not unconsciously seek them in another. Soul dialogue in partnership, in moments of emotional charge, pause. Speak from the self, not the ego. Say, this is what I'm feeling beneath the surface. This is what this moment is awakening in me. Make space for each other's inner worlds. Because in the end, true love is not about finding your other half, it's about becoming whole, and choosing to walk with another who is doing the same. This is the path Jung pointed toward, not away from love, but through it. Through projection. Through pain. Through the shadow. Into the luminous fire of the self. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. Carl Gustav Jung. So now we return to the question that began our journey. Is romantic love a delusion, or a form of deep soul work? Jung, ever the mystic in the scientist's robe, would not offer a simple answer. For him, love was not to be dismissed as illusion, nor blindly accepted as destiny. It was to be understood, as a mystery, a message, and above all, a mandala. The mandala, Jung's sacred symbol of wholeness, often appeared in dreams at times of great inner transformation. He believed that when we fall in love, especially with great intensity, we are not merely entering a relationship. We are stepping into a mandala, a circular dance of psyche and soul, self and shadow, longing and liberation. Every heartbreak, every ecstatic connection, every confusing entanglement is part of a larger pattern, the soul's longing to return to its center. And in that center, is the self. The divine blueprint of who we are meant to become. Love is the dynamism that most infallibly brings the unconscious to light. Carl Jung. In the end, the purpose of love is not to complete us, but to awaken us. To draw forth the parts of our being we have not yet claimed. To reflect our divinity and our darkness. To humble our egos, and expand our capacity for presence, compassion, and truth. Love, then, is not just a feeling. It is a spiritual practice. To love well is to walk the razor's edge between intimacy and individuality. Between surrender and sovereignty. Between the bliss of connection, and the courage to stand alone. And if we are willing, truly willing, to walk that path, love becomes the greatest teacher of all. So, dear seeker, as you leave this temple of thought, carry this question with you. Who are you really loving? Is it the other? Is it a dream? Or is it the forgotten face of your own eternal soul, looking back at you through borrowed eyes? This is not the end. It is the threshold. You've looked into the mirror. Now, will you dare to see? If this exploration stirred something within you, a question, a memory, a sense of something ancient waking in your chest, trust it. This is how the soul speaks. We are not meant to walk the path of inner alchemy alone. If you found resonance in Jung's teachings and the mysteries we've explored tonight, consider joining our circle. Subscribe, and step further into this journey of sacred psychology, ancient wisdom, and the inner transformation that love demands. And if this video helped you see your own story more clearly, share it with someone who may need to hear these truths. Sometimes, all it takes is a mirror held in the right light, to awaken the self. Leave a comment below. What did this awaken in you? Have you seen projection at play in your own relationships? What part of your soul is love still calling you to reclaim? Until next time, remember. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. Walk with courage.